we are again facing a huge budget crisis in California. According to the University of the Department of Education, which projected the governor's budget is projected to have a $19.9 billion of a deficit between the year 2009 to 2010 and 2010 to 2011. Now, as a San Jose State student, I'm also concerned about how the budget cuts is going to affect me and everyone in this room and everyone who goes to this college. So I have done some research to find out what exactly are the budget cuts and who's in charge of it and how it's going to affect all of us in this room. Now, I'm going to tell you how much of the budget is going to be cut and who's responsible for it. Now, the three main parties responsible for the budget cuts. One is the state, which is done by the governor. Two is done by the Board of Trustees. And three is done by the Chancellor, Charles Reed. Now, we all know, some of the facts that I'm going to talk about are stats from 2009 to 2010 as the worst year of budget cuts. I'm going to compare them to the year of 2007 where the economy was relatively normal. Now, the state is facing a huge budget shortfall, as we all know. Now, the cuts to the state means cuts to the CSU as well. So they're cutting $584 million for the state, and the CSU budget is also getting limited by $410 million or 15%. Now, the state's seeking for other forms of revenue. For example, the stimulus bill is providing some revenue to the state, as well as the state claims that this is the only year where there's only going to be a budget cut, and from next year onwards, the funding is going to increase. Now, the state's reductions can be seen in various perspectives. For example, the state's reductions could be an equivalent of 50,000 students not getting admission into the CSU system. Or it could be seen as not hiring 4,000 to 5,000 new employees or teachers. Now, one of the solutions what the state has done is creating hiring freezes for non-essential workers. And Sacramento's actions have made an impact to all of us at San Jose State University. Now, so according to the California Faculty Association, they are going to cut 5,000 class sections across the CSU and have a 45% fee increase since the year 2007. Now, the CSU is also going to hire 10% less. However, due to the stimulus package, the funding for the 2011 and 2010 fiscal year is going to increase from $2.35 billion to $2.62 billion. So now what do we do with the state money? It comes down to the Board of Trustees. Now, the Board of Trustees are going to increase our fees by 20%, but this means that it's going to generate a revenue of $393.3 million to the state. And most of that money, a third of it, it's going to help low-income families or low-income students. But there's still a problem. There's still 10,000 people who are going to be underfunded. So the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, signed by President Barack Obama, is going to give us $199 million and $6.6 million in enrollment funds. This can enable 30,000 more students to come and attend any one of the 23 CSU campuses. Now, the Office of the Chancellor is another part of the decision making in terms of the parties. Now, the Chancellor is in charge of academic affairs, business and finances, general counsel, human resources, and the auditor of the university. Charles Reed is as you can see in this picture, is the Chancellor for the CSU system in Long Beach. He advocates that 15% of the state budget goes to prisons, and that's approximately the same amount of money that goes to higher education. So he advocates that a lot of the money that instead of going to the prison should be shifted and go towards the CSU system. He also advocates that a third of the money should go towards financial aid, so that they can make the fees affordable for all students. He also advocated 2 furlough days so that even though it's a bad thing, that can ensure that all employees can get their medical benefits as well as their pension plans. Now, he also advocated for a student fee increase of $672 per year, $336 per semester. Now, it's important to know the difference between who makes the decisions, which is the state, the Board of Trustees, as well as the Chancellor. And now it's also important to know what those decisions are. Now, by getting knowledge from the budget cuts, we should be aware of what our limitations can or cannot be. We all must be aware of any future trends. However, I have good news that it's going to get better thanks to the stimulus package. And as an SGSU student, I know what it's like of not receiving a dime from the government in financial aid and paying all my fees to the state. And I can tell you that an education is always a good investment, because the average college graduate will always earn twice or more as much as a high school graduate. So, and college education is a really good investment. It never depreciates over time, and it can always be worthy of everyone's time in this room. Now, my final advice to everyone in this room is hang in there. I know we're going through tough times, but it's going to get better. And education is a good investment, and I hope you all hope for the best and pray for the best, but prepare for the worst. Oh, he signed the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, and a certain amount of, it's a stimulus bill basically, and it was signed in Congress in the year 2009, and some of the money is going to higher education because he believes that he should invest in the future, which is students, and if he invests in them, we can have a better economy for the future. So what he has done is given some funds to California, and then California has allotted some of the funds to the UCs and CSU systems. So, in essence, he's given us $199 million to spend on students so that we can have affordable fees and so on and so forth.